The email went out at 4:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Most employees had already logged off, coats on, gifts waiting at home. The subject line was cold and efficient. Immediate staffing adjustments. Down in the basement level of Blackwell Technologies, Grace Miller was still mopping the hallway outside the executive elevators. She didn't have anywhere to rush to. Grace was 42, quiet, and forgettable by design. She wore the same Navy maintenance uniform every night and kept her head down. Most executives didn't even know her name. They called her cleaning lady when they noticed her at all. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She wiped her hands and checked it. Termination notice. Effective immediately. Badge access revoked at 5 p.m. No severance. No explanation. Grace stared at the screen for a long moment. Then the elevator doors opened. Out stepped Evan Blackwell, the CEO himself, laughing with two board members. They stopped when they saw her. "Oh," Evan said, annoyed. "You're still here?" Grace nodded. "I just got the email." "Yes," he replied casually. "We're cutting non-essential roles. You understand." One of the board members smirked. Company's bleeding cash. No room for charity. Grace looked at the floor she just cleaned. "Can I at least finish my shift?" she asked. Evan sighed dramatically. "Security will escort you out." Badge on the desk. In the lobby, in front of everyone, Grace handed over her badge. No one spoke up. No one looked at her. As she stepped into the cold December night, snow starting to fall, Grace whispered something so quiet no one heard it. That was a mistake. Grace didn't go home. She sat in her car in the empty parking garage, engine off, breath fogging the windshield. She pulled out an old phone, not the one she used at work, a secure one. She dialed a number she hadn't touched in years. "Blackwell Technologies," she said when the call connected. "They fired me." The voice on the other end didn't ask why. It asked only one question. "Publicly?" "Yes." There was a pause. "Understood," the voice said. "Do you want us to intervene?" Grace closed her eyes. For 20 years, she had stayed invisible. For 20 years, she had lived under an alias. She'd done it to see who people really were. "Not yet," she said. "Let them finish." The call ended. Across the city, in a glass tower no one associated with Grace Miller, a secure file was reopened. Miller Family Trust. Majority silent investor. Emergency control clause. Active. Blackwell Technologies had been failing for months. What Evan didn't know was that every emergency loan, every payroll save, every second chance came from one place. And she had just been escorted out by security. January 3rd. The boardroom was tense. Evan Blackwell stood at the head of the table, confidence cracking. "We just need one more bridge loan," he said, "once the merger clears." "It won't," a board member interrupted. "The investors pulled out." Another added, "The banks won't return our calls." Evan slammed his hand down. "Someone is funding this company. They always have." The doors opened. A woman entered. Not Grace Miller. She wore a tailored charcoal suit, hair neatly tied back, posture calm and unhurried. Behind her were 3 attorneys and a man carrying a metal briefcase. "Who the hell are you?" Evan snapped. She placed a folder on the table. "My name is Grace Miller," she said evenly. Laughter broke out. "The janitor?" One board member scoffed. Grace opened the folder and slid documents across the table. Trust filings. Ownership percentages. Emergency clauses. The laughter died. "I control 51% of Blackwell Technologies," she continued, "through the Miller Trust." Silence swallowed the room. Evan's face drained of color. "That's not possible," he whispered. "You fired me on Christmas Eve," Grace said. That activated the clause. The man with the briefcase opened it. Inside were termination papers. But not hers. Evan's. "This is illegal," Evan shouted. "You can't do this." Grace didn't raise her voice. "You dismissed a controlling shareholder in public," she said, without cause. One by one, board members avoided Evan's eyes. They had known the trust existed. They just never imagined this. I'm calling for a vote of no confidence, Grace said. Hands went up, every single one. Security entered the room. Not for her. For Evan. As he was escorted out, he turned back, voice breaking. You clean floors, he said. You let people treat you like nothing. Grace met his eyes. I wanted to know who deserved power, she replied. Now I do. The meeting continued without him. She canceled executive bonuses, froze golden parachutes, ordered a full audit. By noon, the media was outside. By evening, Evan Blackwell's reputation was ashes. But Grace wasn't done. Grace reinstated every employee fired that day. With raises, she kept the maintenance staff, expanded benefits. Then she did something no one expected. She returned to the basement level. Same hallway, same floors. She knelt and ran her hand across the tiles. This was where people told the truth when they thought no one important was listening. Her phone buzzed. A message from legal. Evan Blackwell has filed a lawsuit. Grace smiled faintly. Let him, she said. Then she added one final instruction. Release the internal emails. Within hours, the world saw how Blackwell executives spoke about expendable staff. Stockholders revolted. Partners fled. The lawsuit vanished. 6 months later, Blackwell Technologies was profitable again. Stronger, leaner, ethical. Grace Miller no longer cleaned floors. She walked the halls as chairwoman. Employees looked her in the eye now. One evening, as snow fell again, Grace paused by the lobby doors. She watched the janitor clock out. She made a note to learn his name. Power, she'd learned, wasn't about being seen. It was about remembering. As she stepped outside, her phone buzzed. Another acquisition approved. Another zero added. They fired her on Christmas Eve. They never imagined the janitor was the billionaire holding the keys. If you enjoy billionaire stories where power shifts quietly, where arrogance is punished without mercy, subscribe now. We upload daily, and tomorrow's story is already on the way.